Hi, everybody. This is ORyan Johnson. I'm senior editor at CRN covering infrastructure. And today we're talking about AI with Jason Bystrak with DNH. Jason, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. Can you tell us a little bit about your role at DNH and how AI fits into this?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me today, Orion. Looking forward to the discussion. But I'm responsible for the advanced solutions business at D&H. So really that includes everything when you think about categories around data center products, network infrastructure, security, cloud, and services.
Well, that's definitely that fits in the AI category. I can't wait. We've got a lot to go over. When it comes to organizations that are looking to implement an AI strategy, I mean, I hear a lot about data prep being key to that. I also hear a lot about needing the right hardware. Where do you tell folks to start, or how do you kind of start those conversations for folks?
It's a great question. I mean, there's a lot of entry points into how partners can support their end clients with AI solutions. When people are looking for guidance, the one that I point them to the quickest is going to be Microsoft Copilot. It's just the easy button. And so many of the partners we work with, thousands of them have already implemented Microsoft cloud solutions such as Microsoft, 365 or Azure, that Copilot's kind of a natural add-on to that. And it really is a very well-finished product that allows a lot of productivity benefits to that end customer with that. But as soon as you start to get into that Copilot discussion, and you want to implement it, the first step is really around data readiness. So immediately, it also helps the partners have a discussion around what they're going to do around storage infrastructure and security and basically things like that to be able to prepare that Copilot environment so you're serving up the proper information into your Copilot engine. And then the final step in the solution really is the AI PCs. It's been a crazy year, really busy year when it comes to the PC business. So much happening with Windows refresh opportunities that this really helps partners to be able to really upgrade to a premium AI PC and optimize that AI experience for the end client. So it's just a logical last step in the sales cycle for the partners.
On that AI PC, I mean, we're I think less than under 50 days away from here from end of life for Windows 10. How busy is it right now in terms of for you folks? I can only imagine what this must look like at the DNH when you folks are shipping this stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a very robust practice with, key OEM manufacturers, when it comes to AI PCs in general. So certainly a lot of hustling happening right now. We're expecting a busy fourth quarter here. But, I think there's still people that haven't taken the action. So this is going to continue into next year as much as we all try to create that sense of urgency for everybody.
Right. The topic of AI spending on infrastructure has not died down. I saw earnings from kind of all the big players. They're all still seeing big spend come their way in terms of what it is that folks are buying to build out these AI systems. What are you seeing in terms of infrastructure spending in the channel?
Great question. So you think about some of the big AI spending that's happening and kind of trace back to where it's taking place and what solutions and what channels. And let's be honest, a lot of it is going to be GPU based or NVIDIA based technology. And many times that's being deployed out to hyperscalers and very large service providers. So that's not necessarily been the place where a lot of channel partners are playing. That's very upmarket, very different sales process. But what we're starting to see is that there's an awful lot of solutions that are being deployed at the edge. That certainly NVIDIA has plays there, but so do AMD and Intel, right? That we're working with closely and along with our manufacturing partners that have edge solutions. Many times these require a software application or an ISV that's going to have the right solution to be able to solve the business problem that we're looking for. So a couple of examples I might give you are people are implementing chatbots, right? Or personalized recommendations using AI technology to really improve their customer service. Another example might be traffic management, where you can use AI to improve public safety. These are you're going to require a software application along with the infrastructure to be able to serve that up. So AI, I guess the bottom line is it's really starting to move to the edge as well, and that's an absolutely huge play for the channel partners that we work with at D&H.
When I think of the edge, I think of all the care and feeding that channel partners are going to be able to provide there to those systems and to the organizations that are deploying them. I mean, are you seeing that as well? In terms of the services opportunity on that.
No question about it. I think one of the big fundamental changes that we're trying to help the partners understand is that, they really need to shift the conversation to business outcomes. And oftentimes it's going to be line of business decision makers, not just the IT department, that are part of that discussion, right, with that customer.
Sure.
So it's really important that they transform their business to be able to have those discussions and show the ROI that's going to take place. The way we do that at D&H is we have a program called the Go Big AI program, where we are doing online virtual training as well as in-person boot camps to help people go through, those sales conversations and what the business leaders are going to want to hear in order to implement that technology. So it's been a real exciting year from that standpoint.
Can you tell me about that program? I mean, how many partners do you have? Have you had you kind of run through there, and how long can they spend in there and come out, and kind of what is it that they come out with? You think at the end?
Well, the Go Big AI program is something we launched at D&H last year, and it was designed to kind of demystify AI, simplify it for the partners. I mean, there's so much noise, and really every vendor in the industry has an AI play of some kind. So we try to segment it out, help the partners understand which ones they can wrap specific actions around to take to market. That's the premise of the program. So as far as the training that goes with that, we try to make it available based on how partners want to consume. There's a lot of folks that want to read white papers and emails. There's others that want to go online and watch videos or read content. And still others want to be able to show up face to face in some of the boot camps and that. So we include the Go Big AI content at really every event that D&H does and every type of communication method that the channel partners might want to consume with.
That's great. You talking, going back to PCs, the AI PC has kind of seen this rise at the same time that the PC refresh has been underway here. How are kind of the smart organizations taking advantage of those capabilities in the AI PC?
Well, as we're talking to partners about how to position AI PCs, because it is a premium PC, it does carry a slightly higher ticket price, right? Which is a good thing. But it also has a lot more features and functionality. So, essentially I think the smart partners are talking to their clients and saying, look, you can upgrade twice, or we could do this in one fell swoop. Another tool that we're trying to help partners with is doing it with the D&H X as a Service program, where we could take that AI PC and wrap it into a monthly payment model, bundled up with services delivered by the partner or D&H, depending on how they want to go to market. And it offers a monthly payment model along with refresh cycles for the end client down the road. So it just makes it much easier to say yes and move forward with the best in class technology right away without having to worry about budget constraints and things like that. So that's definitely one of the ways that successful partners are implementing AI PCs.
There was a study out of MIT, out of the NANDA lab, that said 95% of organizations or generative AI projects have not yielded a return on investment. How are you telling folks to read that, and how are you guiding organizations around that information?
Yeah. Well, I still think it's early days when it comes to AI, right? And there's a lot of people doing pilot and test projects before they roll it out to their full organization. I mean, I even think internally at D&H, right? A while back, we implemented Copilot with a subset of our D&H co-owner employees, and then we've rolled it out wider and wider across the organization. But a couple things I think that are critical is, number one, if you're going to measure ROI, you have to set goals of how you're going to measure it and establish the metrics that will be that measurement. Our channel partners are consulting with the end user about the expectations, how we're going to measure it, and then how they're going to report on it. I think it also requires a lot of transformation. I think one of the concerns around complex solutions like AI is people roll out these applications and they're not widely adopted. And then next thing you know, if when that's up for renewal in a year or what have you, is it going to be renewed? So we're also advising partners to really use the layer model, which is, land, adopt, expand, and renew, and really make sure that they're tracking all of those metrics and all of that transformation training through the life cycle of that, to make sure that, their end customers are truly seeing ROI and driving adoption and frankly, in the future, implementing even more AI solutions. I don't think there's a bigger market opportunity out there than AI. And, if you're not having these discussions with your customers, somebody else will. So you've got to be the one to, get over your fear, right? Find a way to learn more about some of the solution plays that you can proactively recommend, right? But, get into the game and start talking about it. The other thing is that it's still very early days in this market. So, like we alluded to as well, a lot of this is happening up in the enterprise space and things like that, but it's quickly moving down market. And these technology cycles seem shorter and shorter, at least in the 30 years I've been doing it. And I think before you know it, we're going to be really supporting the mid-market right down to the SMB end clients with different AI solutions. So, yeah, I really encourage partners to not be afraid, jump in the game, learn more about it and start having these discussions. And I'll tell you that the folks at D&H, as well as all the vendor partners we work with, and I think across the channel in general, are here to help. So it's going to take some teamwork, and everybody's on board.
Well, thanks, Jason. I really appreciate your time today.
Absolutely, Orion. It was good speaking with you. Look forward to doing it again soon.